everyone. Give it one more minute. So the only data we have today is JOLTS, 10 a.m. Other than that, we have one FOMC member speaking at 1:30. Besides that, pretty much it. All right, so make sure you're aware of the numbers coming out at 10 a.m. Forecast is 10.4 million. The previous was 10.8. We should see. Let's take a look at the setups. What's everyone looking at today? So SPY and QQQ, crazy strength yesterday. I really didn't think we were going to push up to the 321. But looking back this morning, I just saw this wedge that we had, and we broke out perfect. So I really didn't expect that. Hopefully you guys caught that. The JOLTS job, what was it? The JOLTS job openings at 10 a.m. I could post this link in the chat here. This is what I look at every morning to see the economic calendar. But I really wish I caught this on QQQ. It was a perfect wedge, lower highs, higher lows, and then we broke out perfect, but didn't really see it. Not sure why. But it was also a perfect chart at this 318.7 level, right? Previous support, turned to resistance, and we broke out perfect, and then saw the continuation. But regarding watch lists today, SPY is up 0.2% over the double top from yesterday, right? We rejected at 411.3, and then we rejected it again towards the end of the day. What's going on, Chris? And we're opening up above that. So market's been insanely strong. If we do see a pullback to this previous double top at 411, I would consider taking calls, right? Because we've just been grinding and grinding up. All right, so we might as well just continue to stick with the trend until we see a sign of a reversal. QQQ, consider taking calls through 321.17. Okay. Over 321.5, we have a lot of clear room to run. Over that, I'm taking calls. All right, the price target above is, let's see, gotta open the chart even higher because we haven't tested this level since August of 2022. Price targets are on 324 or so. All right, we have this previous resistance here, right? Rejected once, twice, 3 times, 4 times. That's on QQQ. SPY recovered. IWM is just straight up chopping. Let's redo this chart. All right, so first things first is we have this resistance that we broke out. All right, we broke through, kind of pulled back, retested. And now we're seeing that continuation. Right, but we do have this trend line here. Going to a smaller time frame. So I guess we could take calls through 179.78. If this breaks, then we do have a gap to fill above 180.39. But we'll see. Regarding my top setups today is AMD. All right, higher lows, lower highs, huge flag here on the higher time frames. All right, this is the 1 hour time frame. We have a perfect double bottom. All right, we have a higher low. We have 3 rejections off this top trend line here. All right, we also have a little gap to fill from yesterday. And so if we can break 96.79, which we're over that here in pre-market, we should see a push up to 98 and then 100. We're definitely going to keep an eye on this. Looks very good. Definitely my favorite setup today. For now. Coin. All right, so coin, we saw a drop down out of this wedge, right? Bear flag. Here's the flag. Right, not the cleanest of all flags, but right, and then we saw the drop down. Right now we have the consolidation. Right, I'm looking for another drop down. Right, that's pretty much just typical market structure. Right, we have multiple objections off this higher trend line here. Right, previous resistance acted as resistance, then we created a lower high and another lower high. And then we had off the bottom trend line, right, multiple higher lows until we saw that breakdown. And then once we broke this double bottom, or even, a triple bottom actually, right, support, resistance, support, support, broke down, retested, creating a bear flag below, and we should see a drop down. Like, I like this to the downside to 61 or so. Looks pretty good. Yep, QQQ I took a look at already. Been insanely strong. Which is why I like AMD. Anything in tech, I like. Let's see. Yeah, Q's through 320.5. Set my alert. But AMD is my top setup today. Apple, crazy run yesterday. But again, a perfect flag, and I'm annoyed I didn't see it. All right, we have this previous support acted as resistance. Let's see. Right, this previous resistance back in September of 2022, right, acted as a support. Perfect rounding bottom here. Should have caught this. Right, we had multiple bounces, higher lows in place, and then once we broke out over this 164.8, right, we flagged below, and then we saw that push to the upside. Is what it is, but we only lost a little bit. So we can watch this today. I mean, it's sitting at highs. It's up 0.2% here pre-market. The level I have here is 166.48. If that breaks, we should see some more continuation. I don't see why not. All right, SPY, everything's pushing. Once we broke this trend line on SPY that we rejected numerous times, right? Once, twice, 3 times, 4 times, 5 times, 6 times. You just see straight upside. Amazon has a big level here above 103.42. Actually gonna move this up. I like this. Right, previous resistance rejected here again, and here again at 103.42. Right, also rejected back here in November. So if this breaks, we have a lot of clear room to the upside, over 105. Ready to go. Let's see if this lines up. Not really, but take a look at a smaller time frame. So we have that double bottom in place, right? We created a higher low. Then we started to wedge here, actually. Right, like this. I don't know how I didn't see this. This is a typical wedge breakout. AMD, here are my levels. Right, higher lows, lower highs, 96.79, and then we have a gap to fill above. We should see a push to 98 or so. Only if we see more upside in the keys. Okay. So Apple, Amazon cover. Let's take a look at Tesla. This like doesn't look good. There's just so much chop. So we have this resistance here at 197.39, right? Rejected once, twice, 3 times, acted as support. We saw a huge run, and then we gapped down and saw a huge run to the downside. Right, so now we're sitting below this level again. And so if it can break above, fine. I like upside. Right, that we could see a test of 200 again if we could break 197.39. If not, then we're probably going to test the lows from yesterday again. Right, but we also need to keep an eye on what QQQ is doing. QQQ and SPY. But Tesla is up more than any other name here in pre-market, right? Up 0.9%. So it's the strongest name here for now. So if the market sees some upside today, right, 197.39, I think we could see continuation to 200. Nvidia doesn't look nearly as good as AMD, right? AMD, perfect chart. Nvidia is just sitting at a double top here, right? 279.91 double top. If that breaks, we should see a push to probably this level here. Right, previous support acted as resistance. I'm actually going to draw this from this one. Right, previous double bottom acted as resistance. But I don't really like this chart as much. Take a look at everything else. Microsoft. Guys, I'll take a look at Square and on all of the tickers that you're asking in a second. I'm just trying to cover my watch list here. Netflix, no, nothing there. Square, right? So here's the chart that I have, right? Higher lows, lower highs. It is consolidating. Those look pretty good. We have a bounce right off support. We have a big room to run after this level here, 70.5. Right, so if this can hold, I do like calls for Friday. then we would need to break 70.5. So it does look pretty good. Yeah, square looks pretty good. We'll keep an eye on it. Maybe we could do it a swing play in the challenge account. That's really all I'm looking at. Just so AMD coin by QQQ. Let's take a look at VIX. All right, so actually we everyone needs to keep an eye on VIX today. 1 bounce, 2 bounce, 3, 4, right? High or low put in place. So if this sees upside, SPY moves to the downside. Okay. Right, we have a pretty huge level here at 18.5. Right, so I didn't even realize that we were sitting at this level. Every single time we've tested this level, right, we've seen a move back up to the upside. All right, so set an alert at 18.52. Right, if this breaks to the downside, all right, SPY moves up. If it holds and we see upside, SPY moves down. Top watch for open. Coin and the buy and QQQ always. Just a reminder for anyone that's in the Discord, if everyone could fill out the feedback form. Let me pull it up quickly. Find it. All right, so go into announcements, and scroll up a bit. 1 post, 2 posts, 3. All right, fill out this form so we can see the feedback. All right, this is how people get promoted too. If everyone could do that, it takes 2 minutes before market opens. Thanks, Daniel. What questions does everyone have regarding just trading in general, not charts? We got like 5 more minutes before we switch over to the Discord. How can you sign into the Discord? I'm assuming you're asking how can you get in bulltrades.net. Right now, I haven't looked at it forever. I haven't traded these names since COVID. But we do have a big resistance above 162.65, right? Previous support. We're testing it again here. Did have a perfect flag though. All right, look at the breakout that it had. But yeah, if Moderna can break 162.65, it will see a push to 166, and then we have a gap to fill to 71. Biggest tip on managing emotions during a trade would just be having a plan. Right? If you're going into a trade blindsided, you're setting yourself up for disaster. Right? So as you can see on all my charts, so when I see a setup, I'll show you on QQQ for example. Right, so I see a flag, right? I set my entry point. This would be my entry point. Make it green, right? Green for an entry point. Right, I have my stop loss below, support always, and then I have my price target above, which would be this high or this high, right? And then I just follow it. It's as simple as that. Make sure you're sizing correctly. If you're sizing too big, right, you're gonna affect your mindset every single time. Right, but this is pretty much like what I see in my head every single time I take a trade. Right, I don't draw it out every time. But this is like what I see, right? Entry here, stop loss below, price target above. Right? And if it breaks the resistance above, right, we should see that continuation. Thank you, LJ. So again, we do have data coming out at 10 a.m. The JOLTS job openings. And then we have a Fed speaker at 1:30. It's not too important, but it could potentially move the market a bit. What questions do you guys have? Yeah, hit the like button. All right, so VIX is going to be my top watch today. It's going to be a big sign. All right, 18.52. And then if we see more upside here, right, SPY pushes to the downside. Ideally, I would like to see downside, right? We've seen a massive run. Right, since the break of the consolidation, we've seen a 2.76% move on SPY. It doesn't sound like a lot, but it is. Really all we've seen. But from the lows, I guess from this low, we've seen almost a 6% run. On James. I think it feels like a way bigger run than it actually was. But I would rather see more downside. Better. The options, puts, move way better. But we also have like lower and lower highs here on VIX. We have a double bottom here. It's if this can hold and we see upside, that means SPY to the downside. Yeah, VIX, my key level is 18.52 for sure. And then AMD, coin. I really do like coin. Right, this is a perfect bear flag outside a trend break. Right, so we need to see what happens here at open. Right, QQQ also now, right, we have a huge resistance above with a lower high put in place, so we need to see what happens here at open. Right, SPX has a double top in play now, right? If we open up below, which probably not, we're definitely not going to open up below, but we need to see what happens at this double top, 41.27. When do I decide a trade is a loss, right? So at a stop loss, I don't like to have a hard stop loss. I like to see how price reacts at that level, because it will typically drop below a bit and then reverse, right? That's what will happen most of the time. And if you're sized correctly, you'll be fine. Which is why a lot of the plays I could take a big percentage loss, but dollar wise, it's not a big loss. right? So if this is my support, 4,100, look how it dips below pretty much every single time. But it's always going to do that. It's never going to be a perfect bounce. Right, so it'll dip below and it will shoot back up. Right, and then at this point, if we dip below, right, if we do decide to test it again in the future, this is now the stop loss. Right, that lower level. Right, but if it holds and it pulls back, right here is where I'm taking my entry. Right to the upside. Thought that was an arrow. Guess it's not an arrow. Here's the arrow. Right, dip below. Here's where I'm taking my entry on calls. Right, as we shoot back up through 4,100. Right, here'd be my entry, stop loss below, price target, the resistance above. So in this case, it would be this little resistance here. But market opens in 3 minutes. Let's transition over to the Discord if no one has any more questions. To our voice chat. All right, so I'll see you guys in the Discord. I'm gonna go into voice